what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Endzone Report. As always, I'm your host, Chris, and I got another awesome episode for you all today. Week 3 is in the books, and it was a wild one. So wild, in fact, that I'm going to need some help reacting to it. I'm going to be having James Maertens back on the show to help react to this craziness of Week 3. We will also be running through the Week 4 game slate and giving our game picks on those matchups coming up, starting with the Thursday night game on Amazon, where we see the Seattle Seahawks take on division rival Arizona Cardinals. We'll also be getting into the Chase-O-Meter and some other weekly things on the show with him. And then afterwards, we'll dive into this week's hero and villain of the week. And then we'll get to the week bet, which I'll be changing up a little bit this week. As a reminder, you can watch the show every week at youtube.com/the Endzone Report. You can also listen to the audio version on Spotify. So look out for those links on the social media pages, which you can also follow to support the show. The show is on X, Instagram, and Facebook. Post a lot of injury updates, different stats, and some artwork to go with the episodes as they drop. So feel free to check out those, and please follow the show. It does help out a lot. So with that, let's head into the news and injuries from Week 3. Week 3 had so many injuries that I had to make 2 separate lists this time. Usually I can fit in the offense and the defense into one list, but this week was so chaotic and riddled with injuries that I had to create 2 separate lists. So on social media, you'll see me post the offense and the defense separately this week because there's just too much to cover in one list. So starting with the offense, we had some major injuries on offense. CeeDee Lamb appears to have a high ankle sprain. He will be missing at least the next 2 games, possibly up to the next month. TBD on that, but for sure he will be out weeks 4 and 5 with that high ankle sprain. James Conner injured his ankle and will be undergoing season-ending surgery to repair that. So all you Cardinals fans, we all tip our hats and condolences to your star running back, James Conner. It looks like Trey Benson will take the lead on offense with the Cardinals. Other running backs, we've got Najee Harris, who appeared to have torn his Achilles. He is out for the year with that. Then we have Tyrone Tracy Jr. From the Giants. He dislocated his shoulder during Sunday night matchup against the Chiefs. He will be missing a few weeks for sure. Cam Skattebo appears to be the lead back there. Amari and Hampton will be the lead in Najee Harris's sake on the Chargers. A couple more wide receiver injuries, pretty big ones. Mike Evans from Tampa Bay has appeared to have suffered a hamstring strain. He will be missing at least 3 to 4 weeks dealing with that injury, so he will be on the sidelines. It looks like Emeka Egbuka, the star rookie for Tampa, will take the wide receiver 1 duties. We'll see if Chris Godwin comes back in the meantime. I think he is supposed to be back week 6 or week 7, so he may be returning while Mike Evans is still nursing that hamstring. We will be updating you as soon as we hear that. Washington, we've got Terry McLaurin. Appears to have suffered a quad injury. TBD on his status for week 4, but just be aware that he might be out. Deebo Samuel will, of course, take the wide receiver 1 duties if he is not active in week 4. Tight end Colston Loveland, rookie tight end, I should say, suffered a hip injury this week. So TBD on him if he will start in week 4. Cole Kmet seems to be the tight end 1 for the team right now, so it doesn't really seem to affect that roster, at least for right now. A few more wide receiver injuries. We got Diami Brown has suffered a shoulder injury, and then Alex Pierce of the Colts is in concussion protocol, so TBD on them if they will be playing in week 4. Samaje Perine of the Bengals, a backup running back, suffered a thumb injury against their massive loss to the Vikings. And then Mac Jones, backup quarterback for the Niners. He had so many injuries, I just listed it as the entire body. I mean, he messed up his shoulder, his leg, His jersey was ripped in half. I mean, he is in a lot of pain. It sounds like Brock Purdy has been practicing the last 2 weeks. I think it's very, very early for Brock Purdy, but I think with the injuries that Mac Jones sustained in that victory over the Cardinals, Brock Purdy is probably going to be back in the starter position for week 4, so we will monitor that situation in San Francisco. Switching over to defense, Nick Bosa is out for the year after tearing his ACL. Travion Diggs suffered a shoulder injury, and then Kenny Clark of the Cowboys as well suffered an ankle injuries. 2 big pieces on defense that Dallas is going to suffer through potentially in week 4. I believe they play the Packers, so that is not an ideal situation to be in. But speaking of the Packers, they also had a couple injuries on defense. Zach Tom suffered an oblique injury, and then Aaron Banks injured his groin. So TBD on their status for week 4. Quincy Williams suffered a shoulder injury. Then Lane Johnson, the center for Philly, injured his neck. So that is not good for the good old tush push in Philly. We will monitor how Lane is doing for week 4. Derek Stingley Jr. of the Texans injured his abdomen. Javon Hargrave of the Minnesota Vikings did exit the game early with a chest injury. And then Sauce Gardner suffered a hand injury. Wasn't a concussion. They just listed it as a hand injury. So we will monitor him as well. So those wrap up the injuries. One bit of news that we saw come through. Jackson Dart of the rookie quarterback of the New York Giants will be starting for week 4. So that means Russell Wilson, the veteran quarterback, will be benched for week 4. No news yet on if this is going to be a long-term or a short-term thing. We just know that for week 4, Jackson Dart of the Giants will be the starter this week. So that wraps up today's news and injuries. Let's head over to the weekly reaction with Mr. James Maertens. All right, so like I said, we got James Maertens back on the podcast today. First, we're going to go through the week 3 storylines. We're going to change it up a little bit. Normally, I give my top 5, but since I have a guest with me today, figure let's have a little fun with it, and we bring 3 to the table from each of us. So, James, since you are the guest today, I will give you the honors of giving us our first
I'm so
storyline.
privileged, so honored to get the first crack at it. Let me start with things that we haven't seen before, maybe ever. That's kind of been the theme of the storylines this week. Let's start with Cincinnati, Minnesota. You're in the Minnesota Vikings hat and jersey. Somehow, when I picked the Vikings to lose in all 7 of my fantasy lineups, they find a way to win, and not just win, but smash the Bengals on Sunday afternoon. So, Cincinnati fumbling the ball for 3 straight possessions. I don't know about you, Chris, but I haven't seen that in over 25 years of watching football, both on the high school level. I don't think you even see that on the high school level, and the college level, and the pro level. In all my years broadcasting, watching, following, I've never seen a team fumble the ball 3 straight times. It almost made me wonder, does Cincinnati want to play football? Are they just...
That's the big question. So like I said at the top of the episode, even last week, I was at the game. It looked like that entire offense just didn't show up, and then the defense was not even existent either. That game was just wild, and it was all Minnesota. Every single drive, it was all Minnesota, no matter what side of the ball you're on. It was all purple. Yeah, I can't think of, 30 years watching football. You said it best. I don't think I've ever seen that from a high school team. Maybe middle school, if you want to go that far. But no, definitely not in the pros. That was definitely.
I've seen turnovers on 3 straight drives. I've seen, obviously, punts on 3 straight drives, but never the same turnover. And it seemed like almost the same fumbles. It's just they couldn't hold on to the ball.
Yep. Nope. They totally glued that thing up, and they just couldn't hold on to it. Whether it was Chase Brown, I think even Jamar Chase lost the ball there. Like, one of the top 5 wide receivers in the league lost the ball, which is just...
So storyline number 1, does Cincy want to play football? I mean, let's be real here. Should they get relegated to NCAA FBS?
They might have to. It just feels like when Joe Burrow went down on the game against the whoever they played last week, I can't remember now. I'm drawing a blank in my head.
Yep.
The Jaguars. That's right. The souls of every player on that team just left their bodies, and the will to play football left with Joe Burrow. Like, you could tell on their faces, like, oh, we have Jake Browning, cool. Joe Burrow wasn't even in the building. I think he was still in the hospital when this game happened. So you could definitely feel like their will to play football left with Burrow when he went down. So, no, that's a great one to pick. My first one is kind of on the same line with the Bengals. We're going to pick on the Bengals a lot this episode. Is evidence that you should not spend most of your cap on 4 players. Historically, the Bengals over the years have paid Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and now Trey Hendrickson. 41% of their cap space goes to those 4 guys. It's just, you can't do that. Your offensive line suffers. The defense obviously suffers because they've been horrendous ever since they signed Joe Burrow to that contract. And then, the offensive line is just paying the price for that huge price
tag. To me,
on those
I'm no GM, I'm no expert, but if you're doing more than 30% on less than 6 players, you're doing it wrong. So I don't know how Philly's doing it. I don't know how Kwesi over in Minnesota's doing it, but they're doing a good job with what they have.
Right. Yeah. And then you have teams like the Rams, who, Stafford's getting older, so, his contract's not huge. They signed Devontae to a decent size. I think Kyron's was okay, but other than that, they got young guys on rookie contracts still. And the Bengals just haven't gotten lucky with the draft, from what I can tell, for the last few years.
There's a lot going on in Cincinnati, and I know, as you said, we're going to talk about them a little bit later on in the episode.
Yeah. So that was my first one: is do not spend 41% of your cap on 4 players, and 3 of them are offense. Trey Hendrickson is the only solid piece on that defense.
Yep, agreed. What little defense they have, they're competing with Dallas to see who has the worst defense.
Oh, right, for sure. Yeah, Dallas is another one too, where the Micah Parsons. No matter what Jerry Jones says in the media, trading away Micah Parsons destroyed that defense.
And they haven't gotten any run stop production out of Clark in the trade from Green Bay like Jones thought they would. So it's clearly not working.
All right. And Clark just went down with an injury too. So that trade is looking all Green Bay right now. All right, so we got next for number 2.
Should special teams players be able to have jerseys? As in, should we be able to wear special teams players' jerseys? Because it still matters. It's not like you're going to wear the punt blocker's jersey to a game. But maybe we should, after 3 blocked field goals in the same window. Not just 3 blocked field goals in a week. 3 blocked field goals in the same window. 3 blocked field goals in the 4th quarter, end of game, big game implications. You had Jets and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay was the only one to come back from that blocked field goal and resurrect themselves and win the game. That's New York Jets football for you. Even when they do something monumental, they still can't win the game.
Right.
And then the other 2, you have Cleveland, who is feeling pretty darn good about themselves after their block leads to a field goal attempt of their own, 50-plus yarder to win the game over Green Bay, arguably the best team in the NFL right now. And the Eagles stay undefeated with a big block and return for a touchdown against the Rams. 3 of them, all in the same window, same time. Wild. There are people out there that say the NFL is rigged. That's super hard to do. I don't think the NFL is rigged. There's too many things going on at the same time, but that could make a case for it.
Yeah, it's hard to write something like that with 3 games not only in the same week, but in the same noon slate at pretty much the exact same time in the 4th quarter.
So
it's just, I'm ready to go. I'm sure Cleveland Brown fans are ready to go buy those special team jerseys.
Put that in your next, show me the money. Put a blocked anything. We probably won't hit it because you would have hit 3 in one window. It's probably going to be none next week.
Last week would have been I'm sure everybody that threw their luck in for a special teams bet probably won last week, and then that's their year right there. So Special teams. All right, that's an awesome one. My number 2, kind of touching on the offensive line topic, is offensive lines not only win games, but I think they win championships as well. I mean, Bengals, clear case right there. They couldn't protect Joe Burrow, went down with a major, nasty turf toe injury, out for most of the season. They're not even in playoff talks. They might not even have a winning record after that. Titans, been notorious for horrible offensive line with the rookie quarterbacks they bring in every year. Then now you have the Texans, who are 0-3 with C.J. Stroud. They can't protect him. They can't give him time to get that ball out of there. And then I can go on with many others like Jaguars, Browns. I mean, you can even make the case for the Jets. The Dolphins have been notorious with that, with all those Tua concussions because they can't protect him. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Jimmy, but he has like the fastest release time because he has to.
Oh, you have to get the ball out in 2 seconds. If you don't get the ball out in 2 seconds, you don't have a shot. And the problem with, I think you're talking about Tua, right? The problem with Tua is that he looks way too often. He stares down his first option. He doesn't go through his checks, doesn't go through his progressions. Stares down that first option, and I'm going to throw it there regardless of if you're open or not. And you don't have time to stare anybody down when your offensive line is that bad. So no. I will say, to Tua's credit, I think you're getting better, and I'll allude to that in my segment.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think the best case, kind of tying it in with Week 3, you know, one of the storylines throughout the year so far is with J.J. McCarthy with the Vikings. Offensive line, you know, they're missing Darisaw, couldn't get protection. He was going with his first read every single time because he had no time to think. Now, bring Carson Wentz in for Week 3 against the Bengals. He has time to look at every single one of his options and pick the right one because he's got that time.
I said it at the beginning of the year, man. Offensive lines, that's the key to the game in any fantasy. Don't look at the players, don't look at their production. You can look at them, you see, okay, this guy hasn't been injured in the last few years, maybe he's going to get injured. But first and foremost, look at your offensive line and go top half. If they're not in the top half, don't pick any player from the bottom half. Unless you want to throw a wild card on the bench, you know. But
no, definitely, I agree. That was one of the strategies I went with my fantasy teams this year. You know, which quarterbacks do I want to draft based on what the status is of that offensive line? You know, Jared Goff is one of the only stationary quarterbacks left in the league, and he has plenty of time because of that offensive line. Jalen Hurts, you know, he's still a mobile quarterback, but they have a great offensive line in Philly. You know, the tush push, all that is successful because of that offensive line.
Solid.
So, yeah. So that was my number 2. Remember, offensive line not only wins games, but
Absolutely.
it also wins championships. All right, what's your third storyline of the week?
We're 3 weeks in. It may be a little early, but you want to do a coaching hot seat?
Oh, I love a good coaching
All right,
hot seat.
I've got some good themes for you. Let's do it. All right, coaching hot seat here for after week 3. I'm going to go with the winless teams for sure, and then I'm going to throw a couple of wild cards in there. Mm-hmm. So you tell me what you think about these. Let's start off with the guy that is clearly on the hottest seat right now, and that's New York Giants head coach Brian Daboll. For me, he's a match away from blazing, and that match is Dart. Jackson is their quarterback. Dart that they're going to start instead of Wilson for next week against for their next game, and really, if he against the Chargers, I was going to say, and if he doesn't produce in the next 2 games, Daboll's done. If they're 0-5, they lose to the Saints, they lose to the Chargers, and the games aren't even close. Brian Daboll out of New York. So that's number 1. Absolutely number 1. Let's go with some other winless teams here. New York Jets, Aaron Glenn. I believe it's his first year. Defensive coordinator for Detroit, if memory serves me right. But his defense is not great. They've allowed, on average, 30-plus points per game in the first 3 weeks of the season. I know they played decent teams, but, I mean, if you're a defensive coordinator, you're allowing 30-plus points a game, defensive coordinator by trade, that's very worrisome to me. So I would say Aaron Glenn is medium on the stove. Medium on the stove, not medium hot, not blazing, but he's medium on the stove.
Right.
So
I like that one. So Aaron Glenn was one of those coaches, you know, I wasn't worried about the defense because, you know, notoriously the Jets have a pretty decent defense before he got in there. Now with him doing what he did with Detroit, I was like, okay, that defense is probably even going to get a little bit better. And the offense is what's going to need work with Justin Fields.
Yep.
No, it's the complete opposite. The offense has still been putting points up on the board. Even with Tyrod Taylor last week, the defense has suffered, which is very surprising. So yeah, I do agree. He's kind of simmering there on the stove right now with that 0-3 record.
Let's go with Tennessee, another winless team. Brian Callahan there, second season for the Titans. He's very similar to Brian Dable, but not quite there yet. He's a match and some kindling away from blazing. So you got kind of the base of the fire there. You want to light it, it up, but still a couple more pieces needed. Again, we'll see what happens during the game against Houston, and we'll see down the line. I think though if they're 0-5, 0-6, Callahan's out of there. So that's what I got there.
I like it. Second-year coach, kind of running it back again, except with a different quarterback. I could see him. He's a couple of games away from, all right, let's try something new again, and it's unfortunate with the Titans. When Vrabel was there, I miss Vrabel in Tennessee. I thought he did a fantastic job with that team. But no, I agree. He's definitely on the hot seat for sure. With Cam
Can you
Ward
pause it for a sec?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Did you have anybody else for the carousel?
All right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Let's. I've got 9 total.
Hey.
Again, a too early carousel. I've got some interesting ones in there, so let's keep rolling here. Again, we've gone through Brian Dable, Aaron Glenn, Brian Callahan. Let's go to the opponent for Tennessee next week.
I was wondering if you had
Houston
him in there.
And D'Amico Ryans.
Okay.
Absolutely. 0-3 team. You got to automatically look at the coach and see where they're at. Although for Ryans, he's shown that he's capable if he has the right people around him, meaning his team, of course. So unlike Aaron Glenn, Glenn's medium on the stove, D'Amico Ryans is low on the stove. So just kind of like, you're starting to simmer a little bit, Ryans. If you lose against the Titans, you're going to go from low to medium, high on the stove, for sure. But Ryan's definitely on the list. He's up there. The another 0-3 team, Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniel. He's in a much better spot than he was in Week 1. Week 1, they looked absolutely horrible against the Indianapolis Colts. Couldn't do anything right whatsoever. But now they maybe are starting to improve, turning around at least a competitive game, lost to the Patriots, and hung with Buffalo step for step. So Mike McDaniel from Miami, he's like the car seats, the heated seats you have in your car in wintertime in North Dakota that start out really hot. But then as you drive, you get kind of used to it, and it's just kind of is comforting. I don't know. Mike McDaniel is one of those quirky guys that I don't think people thought was going to make it this far or make it this long, yet here he is.
After Week 1, I was like, is Mike McDaniel going to be the first coach fired, over Brian Daboll because of how bad those Dolphins. And even when he was doing the post-game conferences, he just didn't have an answer. He looked like he was miserable in Miami. But now, after 2 weeks, they've kind of turned things around. Tyreek Hill is starting to get involved. Jalen Waddle has become pretty much the number one target for Tua. The defense is starting to push back a little bit. So, I agree, though. 0-3, he's got to be on the hot seat for sure.
Another guy that's more hot than cold, again, another 0-3 team, got to talk about it. Kellen Moore from New Orleans, the Saints.
Yep.
He's first year, I believe, head coach, so can't be too critical in the first 3 games, but it's muggy. And down in New Orleans, a lot of humidity. So Kellen Moore's hot seat, it's muggy, but it's not burning hot. So it's like, it's uncomfortable, but you're not quite.
So Kellen Moore kind of give him the benefit of doubt walking into that team and seeing what they had. I can just imagine him coming to the locker room, looking around the quarterback room like, oh boy, this is what I got to work with? Rattler and Shuck? Okay, let's see what we can do here. So I kind of give him the benefit of doubt just the situation he walked in. Because I think he's a great coach. He's just kind of in a bad situation right now.
And I'll talk a little bit more about New Orleans in one of our segments down the line here. But as a quarterbacks coach, I didn't mind Rattler coming out of Oklahoma. I actually liked what I saw from him. Again, offensive line, it's not the greatest in New Orleans. And again, I'll mention that more in the segment coming up. But we'll see if Moore can turn down the humidity, not so much the heat, but the humidity. So those are the 0-3 teams. 3 more interesting looks. 1 good, 2 not as good. Let's go with the good one first. Dave Canales of Carolina, the Panthers. He was room temperature before the game against Atlanta, now he's in the fridge. He's cooling down a little bit. Carolina found a way to win a game and win well-ish. Canales,
you want to talk about a big sigh of relief for that coach. Winning that game probably saved his job for a little bit there. Yeah. We're going to talk about Atlanta for sure, because that game, I don't know what to do with Atlanta right now.
Everybody's looking like, what? Like, okay, a slim loss to Carolina? Fine. But that much? Again, we'll touch on it later, but that's crazy. 2 more AFC coaches. Again, most of these are on the AFC side. Most of the hot seats are on the AFC side. I think Dable is the only realistic one in the NFC. But 2 more on the AFC. I just want you to think about it a little bit. Zach Taylor, Cincinnati. Talked about it. You're 2-1, sure, but when you lose that bad to a banged-up team like Minnesota, your seat is at least
I feel like every year he's toasty because he can't quite get the Bengals to the big game. He's been there for I can't remember how many years he's been there, but every year they have this on paper a Super Bowl winning team, and they just fall short. And a lot of times we got to look at Zach Taylor. Like, is he the guy?
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, there's only so much that your players can do for you. You have to go win. Like Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. He's had maybe some of the worst luck with players and injuries and all that, and yet he finds ways to win. The best coaches do that. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll be talking about the Vikings here shortly.
Oh yeah. Last but certainly not least on the coach hot seats, and again, just bear with me on this one, but
Andy Reid. I would not have guessed
Kansas
that.
City.
That is okay. I kind of like it though.
That's my. Were you thinking I was going Schottenheimer?
I was thinking Schottenheimer. There's a couple of names I'll throw at you, but let's talk about Andy Reid for a couple seconds here.
Yeah, and Andy Reid from Kansas City. I mean, the Chiefs are having their worst year, inarguably, I would say, since Mahomes' rookie season. You've got Reid and Kelsey fighting on the sidelines. There's nobody showing up really for this team, and so what? In my mind, he's not in the deep freeze anymore. He's in like the middle of the freezer. Like it's like that favorite that favorite deer you shot, and you got a nice juicy steak that you've been saving in the freezer for years and years, and you're like, you know what? This is starting to go bad. I better clean it out. So is Andy Reid starting to go bad, and is it time for the Chiefs to clear him out? Clean it out. Who knows? That's
hypothetically.
My
what would you think would it take to get rid of Reid after all these years? Be like, I don't know. Do they lose the next 3-4 games, and then they're like, okay, do we need to part ways with Reid, or is there something completely more drastic that's got to happen? The season.
I think he lasts the season. I think it's more because I don't see the Chiefs losing that many games to be dramatic, but I think that he makes it through the season, and it's one of those things where it's like, Andy, we've had a great run, we've had lots of championships, we've had great success, but maybe it's time to go a different direction. Maybe
Right, yeah.
you look at a defensive guy or something. I don't know. But that's, again, it's nowhere near warm. But
We got to at least start
not
having the
a lot
conversation
anymore.
for an off-season parting of the ways.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree as we talk about it. I didn't think you'd pull that one out of your bag, but I like it, though. I like it. So two names I'll throw at you for a couple of seconds here, and then we'll move on. Mike Tomlin. You know, we got the Aaron Rodgers experience going right now. At the beginning of the season, I predicted that he would get his first losing record this year and that he would be let go by Pittsburgh. Now, you know, I think the Steelers are 2-1 now after their win this past weekend. Maybe that saved the Tomlin, you know, streak. Maybe it saved his job. But I think once things go really bad with Rodgers, I think we got to have the conversation that maybe Mike Tomlin is out the door with Pittsburgh.
Mike Tomlin, and I hate to compare it this way, but he's like that rat or that cockroach that you just can't get rid of in your house. You know, it's just kind of like, and I hate to say that way because I love Mike Tomlin, great coach, came from the Minnesota Vikings, remember, all those years ago, and made his name in Pittsburgh. I don't know. I think he finds a way to get at least to 8 and 9. And again, like Andy Reid, get through the season and, you know, see how it goes. Now, if you have me on for, like, let's say week 6, week 8 coaching carousel,
put it right there.
maybe I say different.
Week 8, we're going to do a coach carousel. Okay, the second name, and this is probably, you know, just me overreacting a little bit, but Pete Carroll, Las Vegas, you know, first-year coach. Things aren't really going well with the Geno Smith thing. You know, Brock Bowers is injured, so I'll kind of give them the benefit of doubt there. They're still a young team with, you know, the rookie Ashton Genty, who kind of a sneak peek to my last storyline. But I just figured I'd throw that out there to kind of see how you're sitting with the Raiders right now.
I don't know what to think of him, honestly. You know, I'll go back. I have to make a correction for the last time we were together with our mock draft. I forgot that Geno Smith was the starting quarterback with the Raiders. I thought they were going with their FCS guys and going in a new direction. So I think it's more likely that if Geno stumbles the next 2-3 games, they've got a really hard division. They can't afford to wait. I think they go with one of those FCS quarterbacks and see what he can do.
Yeah, you kind of have to at least try out the rest of the quarterback room before you look at the head coach. I agree.
I'd say, though, to sum it up, if Dable has his job
Jackson's
by the end of the year, I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
Everybody else, I can see a way out.
Jackson Dart's got to be on fire the rest of the season if they're going to save Dable's seat. That's tough. Pretty much, yeah.
Got to be
the
Eli
Manning era. So, Coach Carousel for number 3. I like it. That's awesome.
Yep.
I like the hot seat. Let's go
coaching hot seat. However you want to call it. That's
with the stove reference. I like that. There you go. Awesome.
Yeah, I themed it that way. So maybe the next time we'll do the carousel.
Yeah,
we'll
absolutely.
Fun carousel.
All right, my number 3. I kind of teased it with the Raiders talk there. What the hell is going on with Ashton Genty? You know, he was supposed to be this all-generational talent. If I'm reading the rankings right, he's sitting at running back 33 on the year. Like 33 on the year is Ashton Genty, the superstar top draft pick, supposed to be this all-generational talent. And he's running back 33 after week 3. What is going on with Genty?
I don't know if it's an offensive line theme, if it's a Pete Carroll scheme, if it's just the matchups he's had with the linebackers, but
I think the whole league forgot about him.
I really did. I don't have him on my fantasy. Yeah, exactly. I don't have him on my fantasy. I don't, you know, have him really anywhere. I don't think about Ashton Genty at night. So it's like, you know, and that's a problem. You can't be forgettable in this league. Once you start getting forgettable in this league,
I think that's kind of how a lot of these rookies are this year. You know, you got a few of them, like Emeka Egbuka in Tampa. He's made a name for himself, but he was given the opportunity because of injuries. You know, and Tyler Warren, tight end for the Colts. You know, he had the opportunity. He's the number 1 guy there. Genty had an opportunity to be the guy in the running game. I just don't understand what's going on. And he doesn't, and it's not just a scheme. He doesn't look that great either. He had a couple of good runs. He's aggressive when he needs to be, but he just doesn't look like this all-star generational talent that everyone during the draft period was raving about.
When you look at quarterbacks, it's a common theme that there are college quarterbacks and then there are pro quarterbacks. Maybe the pro quarterbacks have decent to good college careers, but not fantastic. And then you have guys like Tim Tebow and Sam Bradford, who had incredible college, careers. Still one of the best NCAA championships, college championships, football championships of all time, Oklahoma and Florida. And neither quarterback does exceptionally good work in the NFL. So maybe that translates to running backs as well. Maybe Ashton Chanty's just a good college running back, and
maybe it is. I know it's his first year, but the way everyone was talking about him is just something it caught my eye this week watching the highlights of that game. It's like he just doesn't look like what everyone was excited about. So I just wanted to throw that out there for today is what is going on with Ashton Chanty. I just don't understand.
Some wild storylines in week 3. If you had a survivor, if you're in a survivor pool or you have a survivor lineup, I had 25 in ESPN. I had 19 going into this week, 25 at the start of the season, 19 going into this week. I'm down to 11. I lost 8 last week, and I spread it around. But I had Atlanta winning, of course. I had Green Bay taking a bunch. I even threw Tennessee in there for one lineup because I thought, what the heck, if I can get a steal from Tennessee, I thought it was going to be a winnable game, but we'll talk about it.
All right, those are our storylines of a crazy week 3. So we're going to switch over to the new segment that you, James, kind of came up with yourself. So I'll let you take the lead on this one. I'm excited.
Yeah, so it's called 3 Best, 3 Worst. Which 3 teams in the NFC and AFC are feeling the best about themselves? Not necessarily that they have the best record, but which 3 teams are feeling the best about the results of week 3? And which 3 teams are feeling
just down in the dumps?
Which 3 teams are feeling the worst? So let's start off down in the dumps. Exactly. In the dumpster fire, if you want to call it that. Let's start out with the 3 teams in the AFC that are feeling the best about themselves after week 3. The honorable mention, meaning the third best, third from the top, Miami Dolphins. I said it earlier in the coaching hot seat, Mike McDaniel, that Indianapolis game, that was horrible. And I thought they were, at that point, the second or third worst team in the NFL. Now they're starting to improve. They're definitely not in the top 20. They may not even be in the top 25, but they're improving. A competitive, still lost, but competitive game against New England, and a super competitive game.
They had a chance to
Buffalo.
win that game.
They went toe-to-toe with them. Came down to had a chance to win. Exactly. Came down to the last possession. So Miami's feeling like, you know what? We started out bad, but hey, maybe we can put ourselves in a position where the last couple of weeks we got a shot at the playoffs. We got a shot at that 7th seed or that 6th seed. That's where I think Miami is right now. So they're the honorable mention. Top 2 teams, the team that's feeling the second best about themselves, I think, after week 3 in the AFC, the Cleveland Browns. Oh, my goodness. If you pick the over on Cleveland, you are super excited. Super excited. Now, I know Cleveland Browns fans.
They needed that.
They need something to be excited about.
That's what they needed. They needed that in their lives.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That could change the season.
Very
will they win the AFC North? No. I mean, Baltimore, they're going to bounce back from Detroit. I got no worries about that.
They might get third.
Pittsburgh's going to battle for second. But is Cleveland probably the third best team now in the AFC North? You betcha they are. Exactly.
Yeah.
And Joe Flacco's experience, hey, you don't need to throw 300 yards and throw for 4 touchdown passes to win games. Sometimes you just need to find the right receiver at the right time and keep a drive moving. So Cleveland's feeling really good about themselves. They're like, even if we only get one win,
that was a hell of a win, too.
Possibly the Super Bowl champions. And now my top team in the AFC that's feeling super good about themselves, I tell you what, man, I listened to the podcast, the Endzone Report podcast last week, and you said that Daniel Jones was the real deal, and I'm like, dude, you're getting ahead of yourself. It's Indianapolis. They have a weak schedule. I still think they have a little bit of a weak schedule, but gosh darn it, Daniel Jones.
Indiana Jones, baby.
To win the AFC South.
That's what they're labeling him. Indiana Jones.
Jones, yes.
Daniel Jones is legit, man. He just needed the right system to build on his strength.
I mean, I'm getting
Blake
Bortles vibes from Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Taken from the AFC South. We're not to Peyton Manning yet. We're far from Peyton Manning. So Colts fans, calm down. But we're Blake Bortles level, I think, where he could make a run. They could go to the AFC Championship, face Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or whoever, and lose a blowout or something. I don't know. It could happen.
The Colts. I had them as my number 1 too for the AFC. I mean, it's just they're on top of the world right now with Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor going bonkers with 3 touchdowns. Yeah, they're living on top of the world right now. So kind of the opposite. Yeah, kind of the opposite of your Miami one. I got Buffalo Bills as kind of the honorable mention. They're undefeated. You know, Josh Allen is healthy. The team is healthy. The eyes laser set on Super Bowl right now. Like, top team in the AFC, arguably. You know, maybe Baltimore could be the next one, but no. Josh Allen is looking at that Lombardi Trophy, and he's just like, that is mine this year. Coming off of an MVT, yeah, I think this is the best year for him.
It's his best chance. Best chance.
I don't think so either. I've been kind of thinking the same thing with Lamar. You know, if Lamar doesn't get it within the next 2 years, I don't think he's ever going to get it. And then number 2, I've got the Los Angeles Chargers. Top of the division, tough win against Broncos, who had a chance to win. My poor Broncos, they're just coming up short 2 weeks in a row. But I got to give the flowers to the team that deserves it. You know, Jim Harbaugh, he running that team like a machine. Justin Herbert looks like an MVP quarterback. He's got some weird connection now with Quishon or whatever his name is. Johnston, yeah. Keenan Allen, he looks as healthy as he's going to be at his age. And then Ladd McConkey, the up-and-coming, wide receiver. And then Amari Hampton, who's taken over for the injured Najee Harris, looks really good too. So I'm giving the second one to the Chargers. Give them their flowers. They earned it. Okay, so what do we got for the worst in the AFC? That was the Colts.
Well, you got your top team in the AFC.
Yeah.
That was the Colts.
Yeah, that was a no-brainer. I saw that you picked them too, and I was like, I don't have anything better. It's got to be the Colts.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, this segment is not about who are the best 3 teams in the AFC.
Chargers will be up there.
If we're going to do that, Chargers will be up there. Bills will be up there. We're talking about which 3 teams are like.
Yeah. I didn't expect the Colts to be here with Daniel Jones coming from the Giants,
or for bad.
Yeah.
No. You didn't expect to win the first game against Miami. I know I didn't. So, yeah. Those are our top 3 teams for the AFC as far as who's feeling the best about their Week 3 performance. Bottom 3 teams?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I think we're going to have some parallels here. The honorable mention, bottom 3 teams, I alluded to it in the coaching hot seat. Third from the bottom, Swiftie fans, I'm sorry, Kansas City Chiefs. Third from the bottom, they are not feeling good about themselves at all. Patrick Mahomes is running for his life constantly. He may end up having the most rushing yards of his career in a single season just because of that. He's got nobody to throw the ball to. The defense is not the greatest. Yeah. It showed up nicely against the Giants. But, with Reed and Kelsey, drama. There's so much drama on that team. And with a tough division, the toughest division of Patrick Mahomes' AFC West, even with his rookie year, Kansas City.
Yeah, that was going to be my honorable mention, but I wanted to try to be a little bit different. I didn't want us to copy on everything, but I like it. They're down in the dumps. I know Travis Kelce is losing his mind right now.
Well, hey, yeah, you would if you're marrying Taylor Swift. But that's beside the point. Beside the point. All right, move on. Not after hours podcast. We talk more about that. But second from the bottom, honestly, for most people, they're probably at the bottom.
Yeah.
Tennessee Titans. I mean, I feel so bad. I have picked them to at least cover the spread or to even win the game in at least 3 out of my 7 lineups, I think, every week. Just because I keep waiting. Because Cam Ward's a solid quarterback. He's legit. But that offensive line is horrendous. They've been in games up until the fourth quarter. They can't finish. Their penalties, their sacks given up, their rush game is horrendous. That loss to that loss this last week, just kind of the icing on the cake. So
absolutely,
they're second from the bottom. Yeah. So, and then my bottom team, Cincinnati Bengals. I just talked about it in the storylines. Do they even want to play football? Now there's no QB. There's no defense.
Oh, we're gonna get to that running game.
The running game's horrendous. I can feel the $20. I can feel the $20 from the Chase-O-meter in my hand right now. Chris, honestly, this season's over. It's over for Cincinnati. I don't think there's the way this team looked in week 3, there is no chance the Cincinnati Bengals make
that was
the
the latest report I saw was
back.
They were targeting a mid-December return for Joe Burrow. That's going to depend on the record. If they're only have a couple wins, they're not going to throw Joe Burrow out there. They're going to wait till the offseason to get him worked in.
Yep.
I like it. That's
my bottom 3 for the
because I also took them as the number 1. There's just no other team that's probably feeling the worst after that loss to Minnesota. That was just humiliating to watch. Honorable mention, I got the Raiders. With the Geno Smith experiment not working out, the Ashley Genty that I brought up in storyline, Pete Carroll was hoping to turn this team around. I don't see any improvement, honestly. All I see is a banged-up Brock Bowers that we got this year and not last year. So I got the Raiders there at last. And then number 2, I got Houston Texans. C.J. Stroud coming off of that sophomore slump. This is probably an even bigger slump. The offensive line is just horrendous. The defense is kind of hanging in there. But C.J. Stroud just doesn't have weapons to throw to. Christian Kirk is coming off an injury. And he's got a couple of rookies that haven't really shown any life in him. He's just got Nico Collins, and he can only do so much. The run game is basically gone since Joe Mixon is out the door. That's what they need. That's what they're really missing is Joe Mixon.
Yeah. So everybody else, if you're not one of those 6 teams, you're feeling okay.
Right.
Yeah. You're like,
and then the Bengals were my 1. So that was my 3 feeling the worst right now in the AFC.
Let's move to the NFC top 3 teams that are feeling great about themselves. Honorable mention this week, Los Angeles Rams. I think the quarterback scares with Matt Stafford are
that duct tape is holding tight on that
side
back
right now. I mean, the duct tape's holding tight. Exactly. I mean, he's holding on right now. I mean, what's to say something happens and you go to I think it's a Garoppolo.
Which
that's
not a bad backup
Rams,
if you got to go to Jimmy G. Not horrible.
No. Mm-hmm. He can still do some stuff, even though he's getting up to Stafford age wise, but he can still do some things. So Rams are my honorable mention here this week. They can hang with the best. They've shown they can beat the Eagles if the Eagles don't come up with some heroics. So, at the beginning of the season, Dak Prescott told Matt Stafford, "Hey, I'm going to see you in the NFC Championship game." I think Dak was a little delusional, but maybe he was right about Stafford being in the NFC Championship game. We'll see. We'll see. I definitely exceeded my expectations. I thought they'd have a down year. I put the under on their over-under this year.
I believe in Stafford. I know I joke about the back, but he still looks good for his age. He's got Devontae Adams there now. Puka Nacua looks like an elite wide receiver. Kyron Williams got paid, so he's going to be heavily involved. That defense is still one of the top defenses in the league. So, yeah, I'm all in on the Rams this year.
Second from the top, after week 3, feeling good about themselves, the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, God.
I mean, they just crushed New Orleans. And even when
Yeah.
I picked New Orleans in the spread, it was like 7.5 over for New Orleans. I picked them in the spread all three lineups I had and crushed myself. But the expectations for Darnold, they've exceeded them. I think he's proven that he can do this not just in Minnesota, where it's a great system, but in Seattle as well. Just needs a few more pieces.
Yeah,
here
I'll be
and
the
there,
first
and
one to
they
say
can
I'll
be
take
pretty
an L on
dangerous in
that
the
one. I
West.
got them taking last in the division. They might end up winning this division at the rate they're going. So I will gladly take the L on that one. I thought Darnold was going to take a huge step back. He looks just as good, maybe a tiny bit better than he did in Minnesota. So
And the team feeling the best after week 3, it's obvious to me
right.
if you just look at expectations and team feeling good
Yeah.
about themselves.
Yeah, that's
Put
yeah,
the
that's a
Carolina
good one.
Panthers up
Yeah.
there, number 1. I mean, they didn't just beat Atlanta; they crushed Atlanta into a pulpit.
Atlanta didn't even show up.
30-0. Won the turnover battle and scored some. They found a way to score. Here's my bold take.
Yeah.
Maybe my second bold take of the show after the Andy Reid coaching hot seats. Is Carolina? Can they win
Oh,
the NFC South?
That might be a little too hot for me to touch on that one.
I mean, here's what I will say. The only thing I will say about this: Tampa Bay's got a tough schedule. Rest of the way, they've been kind of eking out wins. If Carolina can use this momentum, if they can sweep Atlanta, sweep New Orleans, which is possible, I think. Can they give themselves a shot at the last 2-3 weeks? I think they can.
That might be just a little bit too crazy for me because I believe in Baker Mayfield. Eventually, they're going to get Chris Godwin back. Mike Evans will get back. It's just I got Tampa still taking that division, but I like the hot take. I can't touch it. It's too hot.
Oh, yeah. I think Tampa Bay will still win it as well, but I don't mind the Panthers. I kind of like the Panthers. I kind of want them to be successful. And so it's like, can I at least give them a shot? Can they have a shot at the not winning?
Maybe. I think I did take them second in the division, so I guess there is a shot there, especially with Atlanta. That team is. I'll touch on them here in a couple seconds. So
again, my top 3 teams in the NFC feeling good about themselves, feeling a lot better anyway.
Okay, my honorable mention is Seattle. Now they're feeling really good right now. With how Darnold is going, how that offense is rolling, and the defense is really good. Probably, arguably, top defense in the league. Number 2. Now this was a little tough between my 1 and 2, but I'm gonna go Minnesota Vikings at 2. I thought about putting them 1, but I put them at 2.
No.
Bear with me here.
No, I love you, bro.
Now,
all right, I'll hear you.
I was at that game. Looking on the faces of the players when they won that game with Carson Wentz and the way they embraced Carson Wentz on the sidelines, they feel unstoppable right now with Carson Wentz. The way that defense played. Now, I know it was against the Bengals, and everybody probably picked the Vikings to win this game. That's why I didn't put them at number 1. That's why they're at number 2. I think they feel unstoppable. They're feeling so good right now with Carson Wentz. And having Darrisaw back, the way that team performed, and now they're going to get even more excited once Jordan Addison gets back. There'll be another weapon for Carson Wentz. So I got Minnesota at 2. Might be in an island on my own, but I'm picking them at number 2.
Do you think two questions come to mind here? Do you think that Wentz is better than McCarthy, or that
I
Wentz
think he's better than McCarthy?
Better offensive line.
I think now that doesn't say that's not me saying that McCarthy isn't good. I think in the moment right now, Carson Wentz is the best option at quarterback. I think they need to sit McCarthy down and have him learn and observe how to run an offense. Because every time he was on that field, he was holding the ball way too long. He was immediately going to his neck. Now, I get it, offensive line issues at the time. But still, even with Darrisaw, I think he would have struggled in this game a little bit. So I do think Carson Wentz is the better option right now.
Here's my take on the Vikings. I think they're not in the top 3 for me, just because their offensive line is still half missing.
Right. Yeah.
And especially with Jackson going down now, so they got 3 starting offensive linemen that are gone. Hopefully back before the bye, but we'll see. And you have Mason can do the job and running back for sure, and they got plenty of weapons, so they're definitely in the top 10. And I think Wentz did his job. I didn't watch the full game, so I'll give that caveat.
Yep.
You were definitely had a much better front row seat than I did, but from the highlights that I saw, it just seemed like Wentz did what he needed to do, like any other quarterback in that great system would. That's why people are saying, yourself included, Wentz is better than McCarthy. I don't think so. I think they excel at different things. I think McCarthy, once he gets back with a healthy offensive line, will show that he's learned when he got injured that first year. The injury problems are a little concerning for me, for McCarthy, but that's a side point. I think it's more important that the Vikings get the offensive line back. I think check with me in 3-4 weeks, or check with me when they get to their bye. If they are,
Yep.
They're 2-1 now. If they're 4-1 going into the bye,
We will circle back to that then and get your take for sure on your Minnesota Vikings. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. I want Wentz to do well.
Yep.
He's a North Dakota boy. We're North Dakota dudes. We want our North Dakota guy to do well. But
Right.
I'm not quite sold.
You're not the only one.
Wentz.
I know a few Vikings fans that are just not quite sold. They need more shown to them instead of just one game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Yep.
It'll be really good to see how he does against the Steelers.
I
think we'll get a really
I agree.
good
These next 2 weeks are going to be the real test for Wentz, especially against that Cleveland defense. Yeah. Okay, number 1, I've got the Detroit Lions.
Exactly.
Coming off of that win against Baltimore, I'm sure a lot of people took Baltimore, myself included. I was really certain Baltimore was going to win that game out. And I predicted Detroit to slip this year. They proved me wrong. I'll gladly take the L on that one too. They look elite. They could make a Super Bowl run again, even without Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. Dan Campbell's got that team locked and loaded. The offense is rolling with Jared Goff throwing 5 touchdowns every week. I think that Detroit's feeling really good about themselves right now.
I thought about putting Detroit in the top 3 simply because of that win over the Ravens, and not just the win, but just kind of the way they did it.
Yeah.
They made Lamar look so uncomfortable the whole night. They were in control pretty much the whole game, and I'm kicking myself that the last 2 weeks on our sleeper fantasy league, I sat Goff over Dak Prescott the last 2 weeks because I'm thinking, okay, the Bears, bad defense, the Giants, bad defense. Dak's going to throw a bunch. It's just hasn't worked out. But honestly, I might do it again.
Tough, so.
Just because
those are my 3. I got Detroit, Vikings, and then with you, Seattle.
That's a good one. Where do you put Green Bay after this week?
No. You didn't spoil. I thought about putting them as the worst. But I'm not gonna pick on them. It was it was a tough loss. I hate the Packers, but I will give them this. I won't put them on the worst. I thought about it, but I didn't. So
there are 3 clearly worst teams out there that are feeling really crummy about themselves, which is a good segue into the bottom 3 teams in the NFC, who are the 3 teams that are feeling the worst about themselves in the NFC. I think we both are probably going to agree on number 1, maybe number 2. But my honorable mention this week, the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, I feel bad for Dak Prescott. I love the guy. I think he's a really solid quarterback. I think he's done a lot of good things in Dallas. Jerry's done him wrong. First with the Micah Parsons trade, and now he loses CeeDee Lamb. So he has no defense. He does have an offensive line.
No.
They can score points, but they can't stop anybody. So, and when you don't have your top target, I mean, and Pickens is going to get a lot more traction on the defensive side. Who comes to the party? Who comes to save Dak Prescott? I don't know.
Turpin's going to get all sorts of work.
So Dallas is, Dallas is feeling rough right now. If the Giants weren't in
Oh,
their
absolutely.
division, they'd be
It's a saving grace that they're in the same division as the Giants.
100% for sure.
Yeah.
Second to the bottom, New Orleans Saints. You talked about it. They were gaining momentum. I thought they were getting better, and then that Seattle loss. When your fourth down conversion percentage is almost better than your third down conversion percentage, when you have good amount
I
of
saw
attempts,
that stat and I kind of laughed. I was like, that's got to be rough. That's rough.
It's like 35% on third down this year for New Orleans. Yeah, so they're in a world of hurt right now. And honestly, I haven't even looked at their roster. I don't even know who's healthy, who's on their team. Other than Alvin Kamara and Spencer Rattler. That's
possibly.
So
I know the tight end John Johnson's getting a lot of work. He's healthy. So other than that, I mean, you got Rashid Shaheed, Brandon Cooks, I think, is there. Yeah.
Still there. Oh. That's how bad it is. Neither one of us are even paying attention.
I know Olave for sure is healthy because I didn't see him on any reports this week.
Kellen Moore, you're not listening, I know, but if you happen to stumble upon this channel, can you get Drew Brees to come back as a coach or something? Yeah. He was on First Take this last week saying that Philly has the most boring offense in the entire league. Didn't say it was the worst, just said it was the most boring. I mean, from a guy who checked it down the field his whole career, but you and me both, brother. You and me both.
We won't talk about that.
Except when he played the Vikings. But then again,
there we go.
That's for the After Hours Endzone Report podcast. But anyway. Last and certainly least.
I won't
say certainly not. Certainly least. You know where this is going. The team feeling the absolute worst about themselves, the New York Giants. I mean, what's going on in football in New York? They can't. I mean, since Eli Manning left, the Giants, the Jets made a playoff run here, a playoff run there.
I feel so bad for Malik Neighbors right now. I don't know if you've seen the sideline shots, but he is so frustrated with that team, and I 100% am on his side. Like, I feel if I'm going to feel bad about anybody, it's going to be Malik Neighbors for being drafted onto that team. Yeah, I purposely did not draft Malik Neighbors because of the team that he's on.
I don't even remember how
Probably
far he
third
fell
round.
down.
I can't remember. I'd have to look back in the archives on that one. Yeah. I'm just crossing my fingers he gets traded.
And such a waste. But
to
who? Who do you want?
I mean, ideally, Broncos. Realistically, though,
of course, yeah,
it's got to be a team that can afford him. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to get back to you on that one. That one's tough. Yeah.
We'll circle the wagons back to when Dable's out and New York is a mess and all that. So, but Jackson Dart's the only one that can save Dable's job.
No, it's a dart throw on that one for sure.
That's it's probably
going
to bounce off the board and hit the floor. So, who knows? I don't know if anybody in our leagues picked him up. But anyway,
my bottom three. So honorable mention. I got the Arizona Cardinals after losing James Conner. Like he was the soul and heart of that team.
Yeah.
We'll see what Trey Benson can do, but losing James Conner for the year, that's a huge blow on the Cardinals. So number 2, I got Dallas right there. I don't know what to think of that team right now. We'll see if Pickens can make some magic out of being triple teamed every time, but Dallas has got to be really down in the dumps after losing CeeDee Lamb for the next couple weeks.
Yeah. Here's the bold take. Not a coaching hot seat.
Oh.
Owner hot seat. Does Jerry Jones step aside because he's not going to
Right.
sell the team because he's going to pass it down to his sons or grandsons or whatever. But does he step aside and say, you know what, I'm not calling the shots?
For Dak's sake, I hope so.
Of the show.
Like, he's clearly lost his mind with the way he talks about that Micah Parsons trade. Like, how it's the best thing that has ever happened to the organization. Like, they're going to win a Super Bowl now because they got rid of Parsons. It's, Jerry, wake up. It's the opposite. You might get last in the league by trading Micah. Yeah,
You only have a few years
Dallas
left,
fans
Jerry.
are crossing
Make
their
'em
fingers
count.
too. Like,
You know?
Yes, Jerry, step aside, please. Okay.
Weedham. I haven't seen any of the
yeah.
Weedham boys.
Oh,
moves, though.
I'm sure they're out there for sure.
I know they're out there.
I haven't seen them either. Okay, number 1, Atlanta Falcons. That was my go-to. Losing 30-0 to Carolina, that's gotta hurt. And I don't know what's going on in Atlanta. Michael Penix looks terrible. I think Kyle Pitts is injured again. Drake London doesn't look great. The only one on there is Bijan, and Bijan can only do so much.
Oh, I felt so bad for you because
I thought he had it.
The money, 2 touchdowns, and
You got Bijan going up against the Carolina
Panthers.
Panthers. He should have had at least 2 touchdowns. He got 0 touchdowns for Bijan. Yeah.
Not even close.
No.
Did he even get inside the 10?
I think he got in the 20 once.
Inside the 20? Inside the red zone?
But yeah, it's no.
Jeez.
It's just all bad vibes on Atlanta. They gotta be feeling just miserable right now. So that's my worst 3 for the NFC. All right, last bit on the docket for the weekly review, and that is the glorious Chase-O-meter. We have to talk about Chase Brown. I got to see it firsthand, live, on the field. It was not good, James. It was not good. I'm going to pull up his stats real quick, and then I'm going to get your take on here. So, depending on your scoring system in fantasy, on the one that I run normally, he got 5 fantasy points. That was it. 5. So if you started him, you probably lost your matchup this week. He had 10 rushing attempts for 3 yards. I counted every single yard when I was there. It was 3. And then he had a couple catches. I believe it was 2 catches for 17 yards receiving. Again, I counted every single one of them. 17. Sorry, Megan. I'm sorry. You were there with me. He got 17. So that's a total of 20 yards. 5 points.
No. Two catches, 2 points, right? 17 yards, 1.7, and 3 rushing yards, 0.3. 4 points?
Yeah, depending on how you do the rushing, there's different settings in there, depending on if you do 10 yards, 20 yards, or whatever. So in my standard league that I run, he got 5. But you're right, most leagues probably got 3 or 4 points. Still not good. And then he got 0 touchdowns. Then he lost the fumble, but I'll give him that. He did recover it. Wasn't very hard because it was just right there at his feet, but still fumbled the ball. So do you want to guess where his current running back ranking is, James?
If you put Janty at, 33?
33, yep.
At 35.
No, so based on the last 3 weeks, Chase Brown is actually at 30. Now, I'm sure a lot of variables get thrown into there, but he is currently at 30. I checked multiple sources. They all had him at the 30. So he is, I believe, last week he was at 29, and then the week before that he was at 24. So he's slipping. So that $20 is looking pretty good for you. I know it's a long season, but we'll see with this offensive line if Chase Brown can do anything.
That hard of a take to say he's not going to be top 10, but I thought maybe we get 15, 20, 30.
Nope, he's right in the 30 right now. We'll see if he improves in week 4. So that is this week's Chase-O-meter. We will update you next time with that. All right, we're going to switch gears, and we're going to look ahead to week 4 We're going to run through the game slate, and we are going to give our picks. Starting with the Thursday night game on Amazon, we've got Seattle Seahawks taking on the division rivals, Arizona Cardinals. Right now, the line is currently Seattle minus 1.5 with a total of 43.5. So who do you got in this game, James?
Well, you said it yourself. You said it best. James Conner, the heart and soul of the team. That's going to take more than a week to bounce back from. Arizona's still a good team. Kyler Murray's still finding himself in a good way. But Seattle's riding high. And is it in Arizona or in Seattle?
It is in Arizona.
I'll still take the Seahawks minus 1.5.
Mhm.
Straight up.
Yep, I'm taking Seahawks as well. Yep, go for it. All right, we're going across the pond to little old Dublin with a very, very early game. So wipe the crust out of your eyes on Sunday morning because we got Minnesota Vikings taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers in Dublin, Ireland. Looks like Minnesota is minus 2.5 with a total of 42. I've got Minnesota in this game.
Oh.
Are you gonna ride with your boys this week, or are you gonna ride the Aaron Rodgers?
As it stands, right, I haven't looked at the Wednesday injury report, so I don't know what the O-line looks like on Minnesota, but Pittsburgh's a significant upgrade from Cincinnati. I'm definitely not picking Pittsburgh in all 7 of my lineups. I'm going to pick the Vikings in at least 2 or 3. But I'm taking Pittsburgh on the line.
Pittsburgh. Okay. All right. Moving on to the noon slate with the Washington Commanders at the Atlanta Falcons. Washington is currently at minus 1.5 with a 45.5 over/under. Who do you got in this game, James?
That's the team we didn't talk about at all. Was Washington? They're not top 3
Nope.
feeling good, but I think they're top 10 feeling good that they can win a game. They can crush a team without Jay Daniels and without Austin Eckler and without other pieces on their team. So Atlanta is a
Yeah, I didn't mention it, but that was part of the reasons. Yeah, that was part of the reason why I had Raiders down there because they lost to Marcus Mariota off the couch.
On Mariota. He can still do some things. He can even throw the ball to himself.
I know.
Washington and the line to Washington.
I got Washington as well. I can't pick the Falcons right now. They have to really surprise me. We've got the New Orleans Saints headed to Buffalo. You want to guess Buffalo's line?
Is it, well, I think I saw ESPN, it was like 16.5 or something like that.
You're right on. They're favored 16.5. The over-under is 47.5 currently. Do I even need to ask who you have in this?
Put overs, unders on your money line. Take the over. And it might be Buffalo 45, Saints 7. The Saints don't figure it out this game.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if Kellen Moore, you got to look at the game. Obviously, you got to do the game plan. But I would not be surprised if he's looking forward to game 5, week 5. Just, let's see what we can do. Let's see what happens. But Buffalo in the line.
Let's think of a hypothetical here for just 2 seconds. What do the Saints have to do to win this game, or at least make it interesting?
Has to get injured. I don't mean it. I don't mean to say Saints do a bounty on.
No, but I was thinking the same thing. Like that's what it's going to take. Like not even stopping Josh Allen. Like you have to injure him.
Out of the game.
Is how you win this game.
Even him and James Cook have to be hit by a truck. I mean, like
Yeah.
I said, I don't wish that on anybody, but
Unfortunately, that's what's going to take for a Saints win is Josh Allen to get injured or James Cook to get injured. Yep, it's in Buffalo.
Buffalo's had
Tough crowd to win.
Here's a mini storyline. Buffalo, I believe, has had the least travel of any team in the NFL so far. They haven't even left New York.
Nope. Yeah, because they played the Jets.
Played the Jets.
I believe.
Week 1 was
Yeah.
home.
And then Miami. Yep, Miami was home.
The Jets last 2 games have been home.
Yeah.
So it's like, heck, Josh Allen's barely had to get on a bus.
All right. Gets to go home to his wife.
So good for him, man. All he needs.
Yeah. Yep. I got.
His house is locked up.
All right, there you go. Yeah, I got Buffalo as well. So we got the Cleveland Browns heading to Detroit to take on Jared Goff and the Lions. Detroit is favored 9.5, over under 44.5. Who do you got?
Give me Detroit, but give me Cleveland on the spread. I think they're
Okay.
That defense is good. And if it shuts down Green Bay, I know Detroit is more loaded right now than Green Bay. Plus, it's in Detroit, but I think the Browns can stay with them a little bit. Maybe Goff closes it out in the fourth quarter with a big touchdown drive, and they win by 8-9 points.
I'm gonna get a little spicy. I think Cleveland's defense takes a step back, and I think Goff slings it, and they win by at least 10.
Do you take the over or the under?
So I'm gonna take. I think I'm gonna take the over. I think this is gonna be a bloodbath. Not as much as Buffalo and the Saints, but I think Goff is gonna. After seeing what they did to the Packers, I think Detroit's gonna come out and say, "Hey, Green Bay, we can handle Cleveland's defense." So that's my little spicy take with the Detroit matchup. We've got Cam Ward and the Titans headed to Houston to take on the Texans. Houston's currently favored by -7 with a 38.5 over under. Low scoring game.
I want to take the Titans so bad. I want them to get a win. I love the Titans, but
I think the Titans are going to surprise. I think Cam Ward is going to win this game, and I think this is where we start having that C.J. Stroud conversation when Houston goes 0-4, is what I'm predicting is going to happen.
I don't think they're there yet, so I pick Houston, but I'm a glutton for punishment, so give me Tennessee in the spread.
Okay.
But Houston straight,
We've
Tennessee spread.
Gotcha. All right, we got the Panthers taking on the Patriots in New England. New England is favored by 5.5 with a 43 over under. I've got New England in this game.
At home. Give me Carolina in the spread, though.
Spread. Okay. The Chargers, coming off their win against Denver, is headed to New York to take on Table the Giants. Oh my God. Chargers favored 6.5. Over under is 44.
6.5? I mean, I know the Chargers lost.
I know. That's why.
They didn't lose their whole team.
No. Yeah, I'm definitely taking the over on that one. The Chargers are going to win by double digits.
I think I took them in 3 of my 11 remaining Survivor lineups. Buffalo, I took 5. So.
Nice. This one was tough for me. We got Philly taking on Tampa in Tampa. Philly is currently favored by 3.5. Over under is 43.5. I took Philly, but I was thinking Tampa there for a second.
Tough, and Mike Evans, but without Evans
Right.
and Godwin,
Yeah.
Mayfield's going to find somebody to throw the ball to. He's too good of a quarterback not to. But you got to have all your weapons locked and loaded at face Philly. And Philly's riding high right now.
Yeah, I think it'll be. Well, then A.J. Brown finally got some work. I know there was a lot of A.J. Brown talk these last couple weeks. Okay, we got Indiana Jones and the Colts taking on Stafford and the Rams in Los Angeles. Los Angeles currently favored by 3.5. Over-under is 49.5.
This is where...
Who do you got in this one?
Jones finds his snake. This is where he gets off the track, so to speak. And the Colts go 3-1 after this game, but they're still happy. They're like, "Wow, we didn't even think we'd be 3-0."
Oh yeah.
So to be 3-1,
right.
We'll take that. Rams win. I take the Rams straight and take the line. Rams.
I agree. I think this is where the Colts get brought down to earth a little bit. Sean McVay is going to have some tricks up his sleeve for Jones. Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco is currently favored by -3. Over-under is 47. This was a little tough for me. But I'm going Jags. I think Purdy is supposed to be back. So I don't know what condition he is in. I can't really back Purdy right now. It's too soon.
Even if Purdy's back, Bosa's out. That's
Yep,
not
Bosa,
good.
that's a huge hit. Yep.
Especially against the
Yep.
capable Jacksonville offense. Duval.
Duval.
Start, but you know what? Jacksonville's 2-1. Maybe
Right,
there'll
yeah.
be a Duval banner or statue or something in Jacksonville one day. I don't know.
Maybe. All right, we got Lamar Jackson and the Ravens taking on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Baltimore is currently favored, -2.5. Over-under is 48.5. Who do you got in this one?
I don't like. Even though it's at Arrowhead, again.
So do I.
Chiefs,
Yep.
They need. Mahomes needs Worthy back in the worst way.
Well, I believe Worthy is
Worthy's
back this week.
Okay, that'll help.
Yes. So I'm gonna throw a wrench in there. Before we started recording, they did report that Worthy is going to play in Week 4.
Well, that'll help, but it's not enough. Their run game is non-existent.
Yeah, they gotta do something about that run game. Mahomes is going to be the leading rusher this year, and you can't have that. Chicago Bears taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas is at -1.5, 47.5 over under.
Like, this is the game where just like, oh man,
This is yeah. I think looking at some of the sources online, this is a straight up 50-50 split on predictions for this matchup.
coin? I mean, like,
You probably have better odds flipping a coin with this one.
what was the line? Was it Chicago by 1.5?
It was Vegas 1.5. Currently, Vegas is 1.5 as we're recording.
Well, doesn't matter. I'll take Pete Carroll over Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. I'll take Vegas to finally
That
get a win here.
Yep. I agree. I think this is where the Raiders start to show a little bit of life and they kind of get back on track with Pete Carroll and Geno. Okay, we got the Green Bay Packers taking on the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. Green Bay -6.5 right now. The over-under is 47.5. Who do you got in this one?
Green Bay, but I'll begrudgingly take Dallas on the spread.
Dallas. I got Green Bay, but I'm gonna take it. I think Green Bay's gonna win by at least
I
10.
don't know how to score that one. Honestly,
Double digits.
Green Bay's banged up on the offensive side with the receivers, and I mean,
Yeah.
Love looked beatable against Cleveland for sure, but Dallas has got no defense, and I think they're going to start slow. I think it could be one of those games where Green Bay leads by like 10 to 15 and a half, and then Dallas finds a way to just Dak slings the ball around enough to get close, but not come away with a win. That's what I think will happen.
So I'm kind of on the same line there. I'm going to go a step further. After their loss to Cleveland, I think they're going to have a fire under them, and they're just going to come out slinging. They're going to show the league that we are going to dominate the Cowboys and show that Jerry Jones made a mistake with Micah Parsons. That's just me. I think this is a personal. I think this is going to be very personal, and they're going to drive that ball down their throats. I think so. That's why
Parsons sacks 2. We'll go 1.5.
Yeah, it could be a big Micah Parsons, kind of just like an FU to Jerry Jones. And they'll be in Dallas, so that'll be even better. So I believe that is the Sunday night game. So we got a doubleheader this week again on Monday. So the first game on the slate is the Jets headed to Miami to take on the division rival Dolphins. Miami is currently favored by 2.5. The over-under is 45. I got the Dolphins in this one.
Yep, McDaniel shows he's been improving. The heated seats in the car are very lukewarm now on the coaching hot seat for McDaniel. He gets a win, gets the pressure off his back a little bit, gives himself a chance.
Does Justin Fields coming back potentially change anything for you? Because I think he's practicing, and they're practicing as if he will start.
On the results, no. I mean, it's the defense for me. where is it? Where's the Jets defense under
Right. Yeah.
former Detroit Lions defensive coordinator Savant here in Glenn? Where is it? Where to go? So
Yeah. It's hiding under a rock somewhere in New York. So.
I really don't.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's fair enough. Okay. The last game on the slate is my boys, the Broncos, and guess who's coming to town? Jake Browning and the Bengals headed to Denver. This is not in Cincinnati. This is in Denver. Mile High Stadium, baby. Do you want to guess what the line is
Gotta be
for Denver?
I don't remember seeing it on ESPN, but I gotta guess like 10.5 at least.
So right now I'm going off of CBS. They have it at 7.5, which I think is way too low.
Yeah.
The over/under is 44. I got Denver at least by 10. This is going to be another one.
Start in Denver. I think Denver's going to slaughter them. I really do. I don't think an extra day in your prep, in your normal weekly prep, is enough to make a difference. This Cincinnati team needs a come to Jesus moment, and they need it.
Yeah. You think Chase Brown had issues with the Vikings defense? Here comes the Broncos defense, buddy. So, okay, those are our picks for week 4. I will post those on the social media, and then we will circle back next week and see how we did for sure. Any final thoughts on week 3? Looking forward to week 4, James?
It was a wild week. I was feeling good, just my own personal fantasy lineups. I was feeling pretty good after week 2. Still having, I had all 19 of my survivor lineups that made it through week 1, make it through week 2, and I was like, great, this is awesome. Let's do it again week 3. I thought, even if I lose 2 or 3, I don't care, but I lost 8. And I'm like, oh, that kind of killed me a little bit. But my Vikings defense looked phenomenal. I know I told you, I don't think on the podcast, but it just our bullshit conversations. I told you that I don't think the Vikings defense is going to be as good this year. I was wrong. Brian Flores is the real deal. I think he deserves another chance at a coaching job in the NFL. I don't know where it's going to be, but I think, maybe even with the Giants. I don't know.
It could be. I like Flores, Minnesota, so it's tough for me to say, yeah, I'll go get a head coaching because you're doing such a great job in Minnesota. But it's inevitable with the track record he's had. He's bound to get a head coaching job here soon.
I think after week 3.
But yeah, I agree. I think Isaiah Rodgers heard you, Jimmy, and he's.
Hey man.
It may be.
I love the guy.
But yeah, I agree. Crazy week 3. We got an interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting week 4 coming up. So we'll see you on the other side. Thanks for joining me on the show again, Jimmy. We are going to take a quick break, and obviously we're going to have you back for that coaching carousel for sure. We'll put it on the docket. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and then.
I was just going to say we're cooking up another segment towards the end of the season that we're really excited about. So you want to hang around for that. So.
Absolutely. Yes. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll get into the fantasy corner with the heroes and villains of the week, and then we'll end it like we always do with the Show Me the Money segment. All right, thanks for joining me again, Jim. All right, welcome back to the podcast, everyone. We've got our hero and villain of the week for week 3 of the 2025 season. I'm going to change things up a little bit. We're going to do something a little different for the hero of the week. We're actually going to pick a defense. And the defense in mind, you could probably guess, is the Minnesota Vikings defense. This defense was incredible this past week against the Cincinnati Bengals. Depending on your scoring system on your fantasy leagues, for this one I'm using a standard league that I'm in on the Sleeper app. According to that league, the fantasy points for the Minnesota Vikings was 46 points. So if you had the Minnesota Vikings, you probably won your week. It was probably the highest scoring part of your week as well. They only allowed 10 points on the scoreboard against the Cincinnati Bengals. They forced 5 fumbles and recovered 2 of them. They scored, let's see here, 2 touchdowns defensively, and then they had 2 interceptions on Jake Browning. So the Minnesota Vikings are your hero of the week for week 3. Switching over to the villain of the week, we've got Zay Flowers, wide receiver of the Baltimore Ravens. He was pretty much evaporated from this game plan against the Detroit Lions. He caught 2 receptions for a total of 13 yards and scored 0 touchdowns. Again, depending on your scoring system in your league, in the standard league that I did, he scored 3.3 fantasy points, which if you're waiting for him in your matchup for Monday night, you probably lost if you weren't ahead enough, because 3.3 points, that's not going to get you anywhere. He probably caused you to lose your week or lose the lead that you had in your matchup. So Zay Flowers is the week 3 villain of the week for just being erased from the game plan. It was a lot of Lamar Jackson doing his thing. Mark Andrews got in the end zone a couple times. And then some of the other wide receivers. Bateman, I believe, got a touchdown, if I'm remembering right. So Zay Flowers basically not a part of the game plan against Detroit, so which caused him to be irrelevant in fantasy this week. But he most likely was in your starting lineup because he has been an incredible weapon for Lamar the first few weeks of the season. So unfortunately, Zay Flowers will be villain of the week this week. Hopefully he bounces back against the Kansas City Chiefs and becomes maybe even the hero of the week for week 4. So that is Fantasy Corner for this week. Let's head over to the bet of the week and see if we can have DraftKings show us the money. So to change things up a little bit this week, I'm going to do something different with the Show Me the Money segment. Instead of doing prop bets, I'm going to do a lineup on DraftKings using their settings of $50,000 salary budget. But first, let's recap from week 3, which was a really, really bad week for me. I only hit on one of the 6 pieces of the parlay, and that was Joe Flacco's passing yards at 224.5 passing yards. I took the under, and I did hit on that. On the other ones, I missed on those. Josh Allen passing yards was 227.5. I missed on that one. Bijan getting 2 or more touchdowns. I obviously missed on that because he got 0. Tyler Warren, I took the over on his 42.5 receiving yards. He got under on that one, unfortunately. Then I took a bet on Adam Thielen getting a touchdown finally this week against the Bengals. He did not get a touchdown. He didn't get that many catches, so I obviously missed on that one as well. And then I did the over on Patrick Mahomes getting a rushing touchdown, which he did not this week. So I missed on 5 out of the 6 legs of this parlay, only hitting on Joe Flacco. So with the new bet that I'm going to do this week, I use DraftKings for this one. It's a really fun app to use if you're new to the gambling world. I put $5 on this lineup just to kind of see if I can get some confidence back in my betting because I have not hit on any bets so far this year. So I thought, let's shake it up a little bit and do a lineup. I believe the total prizes is worth up to $10,000 in this league that I joined. These leagues kind of range from putting $5 down to up to $25. I think I saw one in there where you could bet $500 on a lineup. You can even do free ones if you don't feel like losing any money and you just want something for fun. And then those prizes can anywhere be from $5,000 to up to, I don't know, I think I saw $20,000 in prizes on one of those leagues. So plenty of different options depending on how much gambling you want to do on that site. So going to run through this lineup real quick, and then we'll see if I hit on this one in week 4. At quarterback, I'm going with Jalen Hurts. He is taking on Tampa Bay on Sunday afternoon. His price is currently $6,700, which is pretty fair, I think. I think the highest one this week is Josh Allen, of course, at $7,200. I think was what his price was. At running back, I've got J.K. Dobbins at $5,800, and then Travis Etienne Jr. also at $5,800. I'm going to take the bet on Denver being super up against the Bengals So I wanted one of those running backs, and J.K. Dobbins seems to be the dude. And then Travis Etienne has pretty much solidified himself as the running back one in Jacksonville. And they're going up against a banged up San Francisco defense. So I thought, why not throw a dart on Travis Etienne plus 5,800 as kind of on the cheap end. Whereas with Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley, you're looking at anywhere from $7,200 to $8,000 of your budget. So I kind of wanted to go low so I could save it for the wide receivers this week. So my 3 wide receivers in this lineup is Keenan Allen at 5,300, AJ Brown at 6,400, getting that Jalen Hurts stack. I like to get stacks on these lineups just for a little added bonus to it. And then Jackson Smith-Njigba, who plays tonight against the Arizona Cardinals. He is at 6,600. He seems to be the dude in Seattle, and he's having a pretty great year, so I wanted to get him in my lineup for sure. At tight end, I'm going with Jake Ferguson for 4,300, which I thought was pretty cheap considering what his situation is right now with the CeeDee Lamb injury. He's the most targeted tight end on the year, so I'm going to take a shot and see if he's just going to get peppered with targets against that Green Bay Packers defense. At flex, I'm going with Courtland Sutton. He plays on Monday night against the Bengals, so I'm going to double up on Broncos as well. He seems to be Bo Nix's favorite target, so I'm thinking he's going to have a really nice night against that Bengals defense. And then speaking of defenses, I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles against Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Bucks. They are sitting at $3,000. So that wraps up my lineup. I will post this on the social media pages so you can follow along as this lineup unfolds throughout the week. Well, that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you for joining me again, James. It's always fun to have you on the show, and we will for sure have him back at some point this year. Feel free to go back and listen to the other episodes, whether it's the video version on YouTube or listen to the audio on Spotify. Coming up, we will do a recap of week 4, and then we'll do some other fantasy items and then another bet. Probably stick with the lineup for a few weeks here. Then we might jump back to the sleeper bets in those prop picks. So that'll do it for today. We will see you all at the end of week 4. Later, everyone.